The crap really is hitting the fan these days, preppers. They just confirmed 2 deaths from the first outbreak of this deadly Marburg virus, and things are getting worse by the day. You and your family had better get prepared. Now, Biden is sick and has admitted to not only having C-19, but to also having admitted to having cancer. Now, according to the White House, this was just a slip of the tongue, and that he meant to say that he used to have cancer. Now, at 81 years old, I'm not really sure what to believe. Now, if you are in need of Mylar bags for your food storage system, for your preps, for your preparation, for your food storage in your prepper's pantry, you had better order them now. And actually, you might want to stockpile these Mylar bags. Why? Well, the ability to get these Mylar bags is about to get much more difficult. Now, many people are asking, well, why am I not able to get Mylar bags on Amazon anymore? Well, Amazon is now banning a large segment of the Mylar bags. Now, Amazon has told its third-party sellers, and essentially third-party sellers are nothing more than entrepreneurs who have opened their businesses to the online public. So essentially, they'll order these third-party Mylar bags from places like China, Indonesia, and other low-cost areas where they can import these Mylar bags and sell them for a profit on websites like Amazon, eBay, and the like. Now, obviously, moving forward, this is actually going to increase their profit margin on these types of bags. Why? Because Amazon's new rules are going to create so much scarcity that many more people who are not prepping and are not aware of this situation, they're going to be looking for these bags, and there's only going to be a few sellers available. Well, what have we seen before when products are low in scarcity or low in supply, but the demand is high, such as baby formula and toilet paper? Well, people will buy these items up, they'll stockpile them, and then resell them at a much higher profit margin. Now, Amazon has told its third-party sellers to stop selling these Mylar bags made of a substance called Mylar, and cited regulatory requirements as the reason for its decision. Now, the company specified that all Mylar bags that are not clear or single colored must be removed from the Amazon store by August 5th, 2022. So all of the Amazon FBA sellers, Amazon FBA or merchant fulfilled sellers will have to remove their listings by August 5th of 2022. Now, Amazon provided a link to its message which directed sellers to information containing drugs and controlled substances. Now, it is likely that these Mylar bags have been used by customers for their smell-proof qualities. Now, I'm not going to, go into detail what they could probably want to use a smell-proof bag for, but I'm pretty sure you guys are creative enough to put those two things together. Now, federal judge of the Eastern District of Pennsylvania had reason to hope that Amos Mylar would give George Lapsey, the court's appointed expert, unimpeded access to Mylar's organic farms, facilities, meat and poultry inventory records, as well as the employees and other staff, so that Mr. Lapsey could perform his court-directed scope of work. But in a March 11th email to the court, Lapsey stated that Mr. Mylar did not fully cooperate with his visit to the farm on that particular date, and also therefore requests that the U.S. Marshal assist him both in accessing the farm, including its meat and poultry related facilities. They want to look at the records, they want to look at his inventory, employees, and other staff. And in conducting the scope of work on Mylar's premises, they need permission to do so. Now, I suppose Amos Mylar was not okay with the U.S. government appointed expert just poking around and inspecting Mr. Mylar's meat like that. Now, after all, Amos was, he has a business to run. He can't just let people just walk on in and inspect meat left and right, I guess. Just an assessment. Now, Wall Street will be looking for positivity from Tyson Foods as it approaches its next earnings report. Now, Tyson Foods, the world's second largest marketer of chicken, beef, pork, and other meat products, is about to report earnings. Now, name of the game in the stock market, and as far as entrepreneurship and small business, as well as multi-billion-dollar businesses, profits, it's revenues, it's keeping expenses low. And well, what have we seen? We've seen mass layoffs going across the board, and more layoffs are expected going forward. Now, in addition, Tyson Foods, it annually exports the largest percentage of beef out of the United States. Now, this is expected to be August 8th of 2022, when they're going to be reporting their company's earnings. They're going to discuss profit margins and more than likely the future of the company on that day. Now, additionally, on that day, Tyson Foods is projected to report earnings of $1.88 per share. So for anybody who's an owner or shareholder of this particular stock, they're going to be paying very close attention to this number. And this particular number represents a year-over-year decline of 30%. So, yet another company here on the stock market that is actually reporting massive losses. And I'm willing to bet that the stock is probably going to be reacting similarly once the official news comes out. Now, in a new order, Judge Smith placed hope with force authorizing U.S. Marshals to accompany Lapsley on his visit to the premise on March 17th of 2022. On his other visits to the premise, as well as the court expert, Mr. Lapsley represents or requests such assistance, and the U.S. Marshals has sufficient available staff to accompany him. Now, on such visits, the U.S. Marshal is authorized to use whatever force, reasonable force, is necessary to gain entry into the premise and to ensure that Lapsley has access thereon to any buildings, rooms, compartments, and whether or not sealed or locked, they have the permission, apparently, to cut locks if need be. And they can access trailers, storage areas, offices, records used for any kind of meat and poultry related purposes, boxes, containers, freezers, coolers, the works. And meat and poultry related to the inventory, records, employees, basically they have the permission and the authority to break open locks, to remove barriers to entry, and physically remove persons from the premises. So no guarding doors, they're going to move you out the way. Now, oftentimes, depending upon what's found on the premise, the U.S. Marshal can and will confiscate items from the premise. Now, I can't say that I blame Amos Miller's reluctance. I mean, I can't say that I'd be all that happy about the U.S. government just walking into the place and, depending upon what they find, they may proceed with confiscation. I mean, I am willing to bet that no farmer would be okay with the government just walking in and jacking their meat whenever they wanted to. Now, in addition, the judge is now looking to collect a $250,000 fine from Mr. Miller, and was first imposed in July of 2021 for contempt of court and held in abeyance. Now, the payment to the USDA Food and Safety Inspection Services investigative costs is also due. Mr. Miller has requested more time, while the government has demanded a good faith payment of $50,000 within 1 week. Obviously, this is going to create a huge hit to Mr. Miller's small business bottom line, affecting profit margins, adding to expenses. Hopefully he could at least write this expense off for a business expense, but who knows when it comes to the federal government and their fines. Now, they just confirmed 2 deaths from the first outbreak of this deadly Marburg virus. Now, apparently, you get this from fruit bats when they jump from human to human via exchange of bodily fluids. Now, the first 2 cases were in Ghana, and they were unrelated, and both of them later died from the Marburg virus. They showed symptoms including diarrhea, fever, nausea, vomiting. But right now, more than 90 contacts are now being monitored for the same thing. Now, apparently this virus is in the same family as Ebola. Fatality ratio goes up to about 88%. Now, what's even scarier about this is that there were no approved vaccinations or antiviral treatments for this particular Marburg virus. All you can do is, some oral or intravenous rehydration, plus treatment of the symptoms. Now, they're warning people to stay away from mines and caves that are occupied by these fruit bats and to thoroughly cook all meat products. Feels like, every time you look left and right, our meat supply or food supply is under some form of attack. Now, they've also had outbreaks in other parts of Africa. The Angola outbreak back in 2005 was the most deadly, with more than 200 people killed. Now, according to the WHO, countries at higher risk of resurgence of the virus have been contacted and they are on alert. Big question is the US going to be next? Are you prepared for the US to be next? I certainly hope so, just in case. Now, just look at how bad things are getting with monkeypox right now. You've got other channels which may not be talking about it, but the CDC has already confirmed more than 1,800 monkeypox cases here in the United States. And according to some news outlets, they've reported more than 11,000 globally. Now, it's dead smack dab in the capital where there is the highest number of monkeypox cases per capita. Now, as of Sunday, Washington, D.C. confirmed 122 monkeypox cases. Now, this puts Washington, D.C. behind only New York, California, Florida, Illinois, and Florida for total case counts, despite the smaller populations. Now, those states have around 489, 266, 174, and 154 cases respectively. But vaccine rollout is ramping up, and the city has approximately 8,300 available vaccine doses on hand. Now, with about 2,600 of those already in people's arms. But Mayor Muriel Bowser has said that the district would need about 100,000 total doses to meet the demand of the current target population. Now, the 2-dose vaccine is essentially available by appointment at the 2 different designated DC vaccination sites. And they will also be distributing the antiviral TPOXX to local health centers. So I just want you guys to be careful out there. Stay prepared, stay ready. This thing could blow up any day now. And if you guys have been following my previous videos, I called this way back when, before we even got the first monkeypox case here in the States. They said not to worry. We don't have anything going on here. And, fast forward to today, we've got 1,800 cases and, things seem to be escalating. So be careful, you guys. Monkeypox does spread through close face-to-face contact and direct contact with bodily fluids, sores, or scabs of an infected person, and it may also be spread through respiratory secretions. So don't be walking through anybody's sneezes, while you're out and about. It's kind of nasty, and that's another way to catch it. Now, if you are, in any of these particular areas that we mentioned, just plain, you want to be careful, you want to be safe. You might even consider getting a vaccination if you're, if you think you're at risk. Now, the White House is rolling out nearly 300,000 monkeypox vaccinations nationwide in the coming weeks, and a combined 1.6 million in the coming months. So it's like vaccination season going on here ever since like 2 years ago. Anyway, but not to mention the healthcare stimulus check that they're planning with the whole new Biden / Manchin spending package that might roll out. Who knows? I'll definitely keep you guys posted. Wanted to give you guys a quick update on what was going on. I want you guys to be prepared, be safe, fill up those pantries, make sure you've got food, water, fuel for your generators, fuel for your cars. Make sure to stay safe. Make sure you get all the Mylar bags that you can before Amazon shuts those down. We got to take these incidents as warning signs as we all prepare for SHTF. Be safe, you guys.